though we've already completed a task together through contractual agreement, tomorrow kind of inaugurates an accord between the five of us that we have decided to travel together to, at the very least, Dreammakers and then Amber Point after that. Because of such, I see it is important to address two matters before we head out. First, I personally seek to purchase the wagon and two horses that Declan's going to be giving to us. Though traveling individually, it's practical for us to carry our own belongings. If we're going to be transversing together as a collection, it'd be probably better for us to store everything together in one wagon.
Fair.
Tala's gonna lean over to Latigo and be like, "Is he trying to talk like you?"
I'm not entirely sure.
Big words, but they don't sound as pretty from him.
That is very sweet of you to say, Cher.
What do you guys all think about purchasing a wagon for us?
I have 70 silver.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll be traveling together for at least a good several days, and we can always sell it if this consortium doesn't work out.
Levin stood up.
Yeah, he just stood up next to the table.
Latigo's gonna take his foot and scoot the chair just a little back and to the left while Levin's talking.
Cool. Second, hunting monsters is my profession and my reputation, and I typically do that alone. That's something that I know how to do. If we're going to be working together on this hunt coming up, then I think it's necessary to know each other's strengths and weaknesses and how best to use them. Enemies Without Borders is a biological account of battle advice written by the great Elven War General Leonoran Quintoris. In it, he states that the key to victory in battle is to employ your strengths and hide your weaknesses while exposing the enemy's weaknesses and eliminating their opportunities to use their strengths. Though having more individuals on a hunt could lend to more strengths, which you guys have each shown, it also means that there's more weaknesses that we have to cover within a group. Probably going to take us roughly 2 days to get to Dreammakers. And the information that I've gathered is there is some large monster that's attacking villagers and causing bloody scenes and dragging it off at night. So I'd like from each of you guys, the evening before we arrive, to have an answer prepared for this given scenario. So I want all of you to envision yourself as if you were encountering a growlin. In night. A growlin. It's an oversized gorilla with 4 arms, razor-sharp claws, and teeth. They're extremely aggressive, agile, and perceptive. I'd like each of you to describe how you would plan to use your strengths against such a monster and identify what your weaknesses are in this scenario.
I feel like Latigo just looks over at Kosal.
And at this point, the facade's kind of dropped, and now Levin's just more just serious him.
So how we use our strengths to take out a big gorilla monster?
Pretty much.
Individually.
Individually or within a group. Of course, we'll be working as a group. I don't think this is going to be the monster that we'll be encountering, but it's one I'm familiar with, and I think would provide us a good scenario for each of us to kind of give a description of what we would do in said scenario. Strategy and planning is very important when coming across these, especially when it comes to survival. A Goralin, of course, we would never be able to survive on our own, and would probably rip each of us to shreds, whether we wanted to or not. So this is a survival kind of as the optimal strategy in this scenario.
So assume that abandoning the scenario is not ideal.
They're very quick and very able to climb, yes. So a Growlin could probably catch most of us. I don't know all of your speeds, but essentially, if one of us goes down, then the rest of us are going to have to cover for that individual depending on what we're doing. And it'd be best to know exactly what we're each capable of or not capable of so we can make up for each other's weaknesses and utilize our strengths in any given scenario.
Do you already have your answer prepared for this? Can we hear an example?
I would know what I would do in a given scenario of the sort, knowing a Growlon's speed and climbing, and because it has multiple arms, it's mostly going to be used itself in melee. My strategy would be able to stay as far away as possible, land as many shots, and use my superior speed to try to keep my distance while moving up to it. At night, I think I can be a better hunter than a Gorillon, and could probably escape if the need be, but if it got too close, my greatest weakness would be that I would probably immediately be eliminated from the equation.
What if it just wants to be your friend?
Gorillons don't really want to be anyone's friend.
Have you
Even
ever
their
talked
food.
to a
They don't
Gorillon?
really treat their food very well either.
Oh. Well, maybe they just haven't talked to somebody nice.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Most
okay.
of them are very hostile creatures and don't really have. They're mutated gorillas, and they don't really have that capacity for understanding or compassion. You could definitely try to talk to one of them, but it might be the last conversation you have.
So assume in this scenario that there is no reasoning with the Gorillon, and there is no escaping the scenario,
Quite possibly, it's good assumptions.
or no escaping the scenario without abandoning the others. Is that right?
Yeah. The scenario that I've given is pretty much a near impossible one, but one to help expose what weaknesses. I think most of us are quite aware of the power and strengths that we can utilize, but weaknesses are harder to recognize. And so I've given you a scenario that will hopefully expose some of those things a little bit more, since the survival. Yes, Tallow, question.
What if we don't know what our weaknesses are until we see a Gorillon? I've never seen one. Are they cute? You said they were mutated. Are they like mutated cute, or are they?
Not really. They're large, drooling monstrosities with giant fangs and claws and multiple arms.
I once saw a dog that had a lot of drool, but it was because his nose was small.
That's
He
a
was
dog.
kinda- oh.
What if years of
Dog-
experience have granted us insight as to exactly what our weaknesses are?
Say that again,
I said,
Latigo.
what if years of insight have granted us access into exactly what our weaknesses are?
Well, that would be what I would hope. But I think it's important for all of us to share it as a group so we're aware if we're going to be doing this together, of course. Again,
So the day before
take
we
your time
get to
think on it.
Dreammakers.
Yeah, if we can share that before we get to Dreammakers, because we're going to be coming across some beast at night. So this is just a scenario to try to mimic such. Think of it like role playing.
I don't know what that is. Just kidding. So us all fighting together as a group with a bunch of whereabouts wasn't enough of a test for you? You didn't see us all fight together pretty well then enough?
Well, that was one scenario. That was multiple things underground, and that was absolute chaos that I kind of caught by. If we're going to be doing this moving forward, it'd probably be best to plan ahead instead of be more reactive, is all I'm saying. Again, I'm not saying that any of you are going to be dragging anyone down. I have weaknesses that are going to cause some of you to have to help me out in scenarios. But I think it's good for us to each know kind of where we need to help each other out in before we get caught in a situation that we weren't prepared for.
I see what you're saying. I'll think about it. We'll talk about it. We'll have plenty of time in the wagon to discuss.
Appreciate it. And I go to sit down.
And I scoot the chair back underneath him.